On the news tonight, Wike's camp absent as PDP flags off presidential campaign in Akwa Ibom State. APC presidential candidate Bola Ahmed Tinubu spikes PDP calls it a party of termites. And ex-militant leader Tompolo uncovers 58 illegal oil points in Delta and Bayelsa states. Many thanks for joining us on News Now. I am Folashade Ogurinde. The People's Democratic Party, PDP, has flagged off its presidential campaign in Akwa Ibom State ahead of the general elections in 2023. Those present at the event include Iyorchia Ayu, National Chairman of the PDP, Atiku Abubakar, the presidential candidate, and his running mate, Ifeanyi Okowa. Others are former Senate Presidents David Mark, Bukola Saraki, and Pius Ayim, among others. However, Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike and his allies, including Abia State Governor Okoze Ikpeazu and Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde, were absent. Speaking at the event, the PDP presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar said the PDP is flagging off the hope of Nigerians. Atiku also urged Nigerians to vote in leaders who can make their lives better.
So today we have inaugurated, flagged off our campaign to rescue Nigeria from hunger, to rescue Nigeria from poverty, and also to bring back the unity that we require in this country. Therefore, I want to appeal to all Nigerians by standing today in Uyo, in Akwa Ibom State, to ask them to vote for PDP. If you vote for PDP, it will be a return to prosperity. It will be a return to unity. It will be a return to your safety. So there will be no more hunger and there will be security. Believe me, listen to me. I swear, if you vote for PDP, you will all go back to school. You will get jobs. There will be security. There will be unity.
Now, to speak more on some of the latest political developments, the two major parties, that's the APC and the PDP, political affairs analyst Charles Sideo joins me now. Thank you very much for joining us. Now, what do you make of PDP's decision to go ahead with the flag off of the party's presidential campaign? And what does it signify for the PDP and for Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike?
Yeah, I think when you look at it right now, it's a win for Atiku and PDP and a loss for Nyesom Wike. And I can tell you why I said so. When you look at it, that if you consider the Uyo campaign today, look at the mammoth crowd, look at the success of it, and you know that PDP and Atiku and his team is all, they call Wike's bluff, and they seem to have checking off all that has been troubling them. So they've left Wike behind, and they've called his bluff, and they have moved ahead. And specifically, what they have done is that they had this campaign in the political backyard of people. So what does that tell you? So it's not political backyard of Wike. What does that tell you? It tells you that they are ready to move without Wike, and that's something that is very, very important in this in what you are seeing and Paracade.
Well, Charles Sideo, political affairs analyst, thank you very much for your time and your contribution. The presidential flag bearer of the All Progressives Congress, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has described the main opposition People's Democratic Party as a political party of termites. Tinubu said this during the inauguration of the Tinubu-Shatima Women Presidential Campaign Team at the State House Banquet Hall in Abuja. Acts come barely 2 days after the official kickoff of political campaigns nationwide, according to the timetable set by the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC). Tinubu said President Muhammadu Buhari promised to deal with the insurgency in the northeast, and he delivered, adding that it is easy to forget the situation of the country before Buhari was elected president.
Our opponent spent 16 years they had forgotten that highway is an economy, that electricity is mandatory for industrialization. They don't even understand the power of transmission line, and there's a need for maintenance of it. They couldn't even make down payment on rail track. They are political party Jembulas. Political party of termites.
I agree absolutely with the truism that there are more women in this country than men. True or false? Now, that means even if it were possible for the men to take a rest, Nigerian women alone are capable of delivering.
Your Excellencies, permit me to voice out our concern for the progressive decline in the involvement and participation of women in elective and appointive positions at all the 3 tiers of government. Our clamor and cries over the years has remained unattended to, especially at the level of legislative arms of government. For this reason, our movement has no option but to ask the party leadership to sign a compact with Nigerian women.
Other political stories: the governorship candidates of the People's Democratic Party in Lagos State, Abdulaziz Olajide Adeniro, also known as Jandor, has urged Nigerians to take advantage of Nigeria's uninterrupted democracy to vote credible leaders into power. The governorship aspirant made this known during an interview with newsmen over the weekend. Jandor also expressed optimism that with heightened sensitization, more Nigerians will come out en masse to vote during elections.
Those that wouldn't understand the nitty-gritty of governance anymore. So now we're bringing our knowledge to bear, and this is wonderful. I think I said it on stage earlier on, that it is time for us to populate the process with our numerical strength. If you look at INEC data, we have huge numbers of some of us who register, but at the end of the day, those you see at the polling units are the older generation. But this time, I believe things will change. I believe with a program of this nature, awareness is on the increase, and we will do better in the coming election.
The reason why youth in politics endorsing Jandor is because they've shown good quality of leadership. They've shown that they can rule in every capacity, and they have the leadership quality to deliver their state, and also for Banky W to deliver his constituency. The young man has proven that he has dominated his industry, and now he's in politics, and he's here to stay, and he's here to fix things that has not been fixed.
Nigeria is bleeding. Nigeria is in a total stage of mess. Nigeria is collapsing, and Nigeria is disintegrating. And if we dare allow these desperate power hunters to continue minding the affairs of this country beyond 2023, then certainly Nigeria will disintegrate. That has not been the prayers of our founding fathers. Nigeria is such a beautiful country. Nigeria is such a blessed country. So we shouldn't allow few people to continue, disintegrating Nigeria.
Now, moving on to other stories, more than 58 illegal oil points have been discovered so far since the operation to end oil theft on the waterways of Delta and Bayelsa states began. Ex-militant leader, government Ekpemopolo, also known as Tompolo, disclosed this on Sunday at a news briefing. Tompolo explained that with these breakthroughs, stakeholders in the region are optimistic that the war against crude oil theft will be won. The ex-militant leader also commended the efforts of the military and the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited for collaborating with him on the operation, promising to do everything possible to bring the menace to a halt. Well, to discuss this further, Dennis Amakri, the former Deputy Director, Department of State Services, DSS, joins me now. Thank you, as always, for joining us. Now, it appears that ex-militant leader Tompolo is determined to deliver on his mandate to end oil theft in the region. Now, are you convinced that the federal government's approach to ending oil theft might finally yield results?
Thank you for having me. I am really very happy with the results that I'm hearing right now. And I think Tompolo is going ahead to prove to everybody that, of course, he is going to do a very good job. This is what we have been saying all along. We have people that have been coming out to say, oh, communities have been breaking the pipelines and taking the pipeline, the crude oil, and then, of course, using it for diesel and all the stuff. But now we see, because in another forum, I've mentioned this before, all that we have been hearing, that 400,000 barrels a day that this country has been losing is not from the communities. People who are doing hydrocarbon accounting, and for those people who are directing the fuel all the way down offshore and pumping it into tankers, tankers of 3 million barrels capacity to be taken overseas, unaccounted for. And I'm very happy that now we are seeing it, and of course it's coming to light, and something has to be done about it.
But do you think the fears of some opinion leaders are still valid, in the sense that they feel involving non-state actors in protecting Nigeria's assets is actually more or less making us vulnerable to these people? So do you think their fears are still valid despite the results we are seeing now?
Well, you have to know that, of course, sometimes government cannot do everything. Government security agencies cannot do everything. That's why you have private security contractors. Private security contractors in all different spheres. You have even, okay, let's go to the economic sphere. You have people like contractors, vendors, who are doing things for government. So it does not really matter. Right now, we've seen situations where even some government operatives are part of it. And I can tell you, this particular large export, unaccounted export of oil, crude oil out of Nigeria, is sponsored, or should I say supported, by people high up in our oil industry, government people. So it is something that, I will really be happy if the Chief of Defense Staff, the Director General of the SSS, the EFCC will go deeper, do a deep dive in investigating this thing, because we know that it is not just outside non-state actors, but people in government who are, busy doing this.
Well, indeed, Dennis Amakri, the former Deputy Director, Department of State Services, DSS, thank you for your time and your contribution.
Thank you.
The Speaker of the Economic Community of West African State Parliament has described as misleading the allegations of marginalization of Nigerian candidates in the Parliament's recruitment process. In a press conference held at the closing of the ECOWAS second extraordinary session in Lomé, Sedi Mohamed Tunis said the recruitment process was transparent and free from all forms of manipulations. The speaker further explained that the reason for the agitations from the Nigerian MPs was as a result of the senior positions that are due for promotions to the next level. He, however, assured that recruitment exercises will be completed before the end of the year, adding that the process and other activities of the Parliament will be transparent as much as possible.
Recruitments that's ongoing at the ECOWAS Parliament is transparent and in line with the staff regulations and the Supplementary Act. That's very, very important information. I want the public, especially our Nigerian public, to know that there were no malpractices. Number two, that Nigerians were not marginalized at all in the whole process. As a matter of fact, out of 10 positions from the report now that have been submitted to us by the advisory committee, out of the 10 positions, 5 of them went to Nigeria, 1 to Sierra Leone, 1 to Senegal, 1 to Guinea-Bissau, 1 to Niger, and 1 to Ghana. And it's also important and very, very important to inform the general public that 70% of this new recruitment came from the internal staff. That means people who have already been serving the ECOWAS parliaments. 70% of them were appointed to these positions.
We'll take a breather here, but still to come. NNPC Limited to make final investment decision in pipeline next year. Details of this story and more right after this break. Welcome back. Now here is a recap of some of our top stories tonight. The People's Democratic Party, PDP, has flagged off its presidential campaign in Akwa Ibom State ahead of the general elections in 2023. Those present at the event include Iyocha Ayu, national chairman of the PDP, Atiku Abubakar, the presidential candidate, and his running mate Ifeanyi Okowa. However, Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike and his allies, including Abia State Governor Okoze Ikpeazu and Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde, were absent. But we also told you that the presidential flag bearer of the All Progressives Congress, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has described the main opposition, People's Democratic Party, as a political party of termites. Tinubu said President Muhammadu Buhari promised to deal with the insurgency in the northeast, and he has delivered, adding that it is easy to forget the situation of the country before Buhari was elected president. Well, in case you miss any of our news bulletin, for more updates, do log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Google Plus at TV360 Nigeria. On Facebook, we are TV360 Online. Chinese cities have imposed fresh lockdowns and travel restrictions after the number of new daily COVID-19 cases tripled during a week-long holiday ahead of the major Communist Party meeting in Beijing next week. Travel was down during the annual National Day holiday that began October 1st as authorities discouraged people from leaving their cities and provinces. Meanwhile, the number of new daily cases has grown to about 1,800 from 600 at the start of the break. Well, we'll take a breather and return with more stories in business. To stay with us. Welcome back. Simisola Adigun joins us now for more stories in business. Over to you, Simisola.
Many thanks, Olashade. Welcome to Business News. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited says it will make a final investment decision on the proposed $25 billion Nigeria-Morocco gas pipeline by 2023. Group Chief Executive Officer Mele Kyari, in an interview with Bloomberg in Abuja on Monday, said the project will cost $20 to $25 billion to build and will be constructed in phases, adding that discussions around financing are ongoing. The NMGP is a 5,600-kilometer gas pipeline project traversing 13 African countries. Once completed, it will provide gas from Nigeria to the West African countries through to the Kingdom of Morocco and subsequently to Europe. The federal government has waded into the raging dispute between the Kogi State government and the Dangote Group over the ownership of Dangote Cement PLC and the alleged non-payment of taxes to the state government by the company. Speaking during an interview with newsmen, the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Niyi Adebayo, said the manner the Kogi State government was going about the issue was capable of eroding investors' confidence in the Nigerian economy and could destroy the federal government's program on promoting ease of doing business in Nigeria. Kogi State government had last Wednesday sealed Dangote Cement's factory located in Obajana over alleged tax evasion and equity ownership in an exercise that several staff of the Dangote Cement were pelted with gun bullets. Well, that is on Business News. Back to you, Falashadin.
Many thanks, Simi. And on the foreign scene, Chad's military ruler General Mohamed Deby will be sworn in on Monday as the transitional president, extending his stay in power by 2 years. The U.S. had earlier warned it would impose sanctions on the ruling junta if it extended the transition, while the African Union similarly warned Chad against extending the transition. Mohamed will be eligible for future elections as pledged to ensure institutional reforms, including adopting a new constitution, an electoral code, and creating a new election commission. Well, up next is Entertainment Report on News Now.
Singer and songwriter Tenny has been accused by a Twitter user of instructing her security personnel to beat up a fan who attended her show in Asaba, Delta State. According to the video post, which showed the bloody face of the fan who was beaten up, the young man had done nothing to provoke Tenny and was only cheering her from the stand at the Dome Event Center, Asaba. According to Malachi, the Twitter user, the unprovoked assault was because the fan had joked about how Tenny was no longer interested in taking pictures with fans as she is now a big star. A statement that angered Tenny, who then asked her bouncer to pounce on the fan, leaving him with a blooded eye. Rave of the moment, Ashake has had to unceremoniously end his Baltimore performance after he was advised to do so by his security team. Ashake was prompted to take an earlier than expected exit after one of the security personnel at the event reported that his firearm had been stolen. The organizers have since apologized for the way the show ended and promised to set up a new date for the event, which will be announced in due time. And that's it on the entertainment segment of News Now.
Away from entertainment now to sports, Brighton midfielder Enoch Mwepu has announced that his football career had come to an end after he was diagnosed with a hereditary heart condition. Mwepu made this announcement via a statement on his Twitter handle. Mwepu, however, said he plans to stay involved in football in other capacity, even though he wouldn't be able to play anymore. The versatile player joined Brighton from Red Bull Salzburg on a 4-year deal for a fee reported to be 18 million euros in July 2021. He scored 3 goals and 27 appearances for the club and last played in the 5-2 win over Leicester City in September. And that's the size of our news bulletin. Many thanks for watching. I'm Folashade Ogurinde. Bye for now.